Hey, let me know when you're ready.
I'm good.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Hey, hey, five, four,
I'm not gonna
three.
cut it down. I'm just gonna start the whole thing. I'm just gonna do the whole thing. So just we're gonna go from
You're
here.
worthless. You're
Five, four,
worthless.
three, two, one. I wanted to do it. Go.
Okay, yeah, whatever. Okay. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the forecast episode 4, and I'm absolutely amazed that we're starting so close to 7 o'clock. It's a miracle. So we have some of our
Whoa.
returning people. We got Wiggy wearing the Dookie dreads, and of course
Come
Stabby.
on!
And we have a three-peat with the EU form. We have Mac coming in today. It's definitely awesome to have you in here, Mac, with the moose head.
Marty Moose in the house!
I had to bring the moose for Cambo because he's never seen one. He lives in Norway.
What?
Campbell hasn't seen a lot of things.
So for those who may not know Mac, first time I met him, you were on the Black Ops forums, and you did a lot of work with, especially with the networking side. I think you made a really popular thread just discussing how to improve your overall network settings, working with your router, just making the overall Black Ops experience run smoother for a lot of people. And that was a very popular thread. I think that stayed. Was it stickied on that board? I think
It wasn't sticky, but it got bumped a lot and replied to a lot, so
That was
it
really,
stayed there.
that was a really popular thread. I know you helped a lot with trying to create more hardcore game modes. I worked with Vaughn and a bunch of forum and a bunch of different people to get those instituted. And you've been working a lot in the Call of Duty community. And more recently, you have what's called the Lagafont thread. I think it's over on the COD HQ right now. I'm going to include the link to that thread in the description when we post this up on YouTube. But do you mind maybe talking about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. It's well, it came off the Black Ops thread, and basically it just covers everything to lower your ping, make sure your net's open, basically just everything you need to do to optimize your connection so you're running the best you can, your game and data packets are running smoothly, and you've done everything you can so when you go on the forums and scream like mad that you have the best internet money could buy, that it's not your fault. You're actually saying that with some authority.
Yeah.
So it was very popular. It helped a lot of people, so that was a main thing.
And that's pretty awesome. The other thing too is there's a lot of talk about lag compensation, especially with Black Ops and Modern Warfare 3. And I think you and Cap, and I'll include a link to that video as well. You guys did a really good breakdown of lag compensation and just overall how the networking and matchmaking works for Call of Duty. So we'll include that in there as well. But I think it's a good breakdown.
Just to correct you, to give Cap props where he deserves props. Cap's actually made a lag comp video. I did a follow up with him after Infinity Ward actually changed the matchmaking to the system that we'd been advocating for months.
Okay.
And then we decided to do that and explain the whole system for everyone how it worked differently.
Okay. Well then, yeah, we'll include both those links then in there to discuss it. But yeah, you've been really big into the networking and helped a lot of people in the Call of Duty community. And more recently, I think this past weekend, you actually went to EuroGamer, which is a big video game expo. You want to kind of just share your thoughts and your experiences? And I know you met up with the EU forum there, so I'm sure there's a lot of interesting stories that came from that.
No, not really. Fed up talking about it now, to be honest. Done it all week.
Well, it's the end of the podcast.
Yeah, for the American viewers who don't know, EuroGamer is like the big European Games Expo we have once a year. This year we had about 50,000 people in Elsport. Every major game that's coming out this year was there. Will say though, Skylanders Giants wasn't, which was a big disappointment for me because I absolutely love Skylanders. We had all big AAA titles. We had a stand there for the indie developers, retro games, you name it. There was something for everyone there. It was an absolutely amazing show. And I've got to say this. Rupert, the guy who actually runs EuroGamer, him and the staff put on an absolutely amazing event. It was brilliantly organised, easy to get into, everyone enjoyed it, so props to them for that.
Before we started the podcast, you were mentioning that you really had a lot of time to really sit down and play the games. Like you had a lot of bandwidth to do that. So I think in other expos you get like 2 minutes and you're out. So it does seem like they did a good job of managing everything, at least in that respect.
We first game Cambo myself actually went on. Well, Cambo went on. I stood behind him to watch because I thought it was just going to be he's going to get a 2-minute game.
Yeah.
Was Assassin's Creed 3, which is a whole single player level, and I mean he was on it for nearly 10 minutes. Okay, granted that was because he got stuck and couldn't work out how to get out of an area. But yeah, I mean every game we played, that you had like a good 5 to 10 minutes on everything. So it wasn't like you just got a little taste and then you were shuffled off. You actually got to experience like proper play, gameplay and stuff. So you could actually get a really good idea and feel for the games, which was amazing. Did mean the queues were a bit long in places. I mean, the Black Ops queue was hours long at some point. So, but I mean, AAA titles, you expect that.
Yeah, that's definitely to be expected. Was there any indie game that you played that you thought was pretty popular that we should look out for?
Yeah, I can't actually remember the name of it, fan. Ask me that question in a second.
Okay.
I actually wrote it down and I've forgotten it now because I did actually want to mention it.
Okay. Well, then I think we're going to talk about the other games, but I think the big emphasis, what we really want to talk about, and we'll bring up that indie game later in the podcast, is Black Ops 2, because I think the last time, at least on this podcast, we discussed it was, 1 or 2 months ago? I think it's been a little while, and there's been a lot of information that's come out, and you had a chance to see it in action, so you have a first-hand experience with the game, so definitely want to bring up a lot of different things. Just what are your general thoughts? Because I know you had a chance to actually sit down and play it, and we were talking about it before. What were your just first-hand impressions of what you've experienced so far?
Probably easy if you ask me like a direct question. I mean, I'm totally in all of it. It was.
Well, I guess the one thing that I'm most concerned about is the pick 10 system. I mean, what did you think? How intuitive was that? How easy was it to set up classes? How varied could you make your play style when you were going about playing the game?
Put it this way, I think it was the second game I played. I got so involved in looking at the pick 10 system and just couldn't choose what I wanted. We actually started the match, and I'd managed to get one attachment actually on and started a match with no kill streaks. You've got. I mean, everyone's seen the comments like Varn and Tracker said, but you've got like millions of combinations. You just really do have millions of combinations. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can foresee people coming up with some really obscure setups just to try them out. And I mean, obviously, it's for COD community, so someone on YouTube is going to post a setup and everyone's going to use it for months and then say it's overpowered. But it was absolutely amazing. It's so well designed. I mean, you just flow through each section and you can work out where you're going, what bit you want to add on to it. The wild cards add more confusion at the end, because just when you think you've worked out a really great setup, you then remember you can add a wild card. So you can have, say, 2 tier 1 perks, which totally changes the way your class will play. You can have two tier perks, which I had in one go. And I mean, it's just you know, Varn and Stuck and Tracker said, you know, like, they totally done it. It's a new system. Everyone was a bit, you know, it's new, we're not going to like it. Everyone's going to love it. It's such a good idea. It's such a simple idea, but they've done it so well that it's going to change the game.
Because that was one of the things I was kind of worried about. Is this just their way to try to add a little bit of difference? It's almost like a gimmick, or is this true progression in the series? I mean, like, from the way you describe it, it sounds like it really is a great idea. And
it's like I said to you guys earlier before we started. I mean, as soon as you get into the menus, you can see that there's been so much time and effort and thought and love put into each different aspect. I mean, straight from the menu screen. And I think the pick 10 system is something that aptly demonstrates this. They haven't just come up with an idea and thought, yeah, let's try this, it's something new. You can see they've actually gone through, thought about it, worked out how it's going to work for players, and I can really see it's going to be the thing that everyone... Kill confirmed in Modern Warfare 3, everyone loves it, everyone asked it to come on. I can see this being the thing that all the COD community want to see moving forward into different games now. It's definitely a major improvement over the creative class system.
And to touch back on the menu system, you also described, like, when somebody jumps into Modern Warfare 3 for the first time and you bring up that menu system, you kind of feel like it's Modern Warfare 2, but it's tweaked a little bit. But you said when you started playing Black Ops 2, it felt like they redid everything, and they really put a lot of attention to detail, and it feels like its own entity. So honestly, that sounds really awesome. It doesn't feel like it's just another iteration, but it's its own game. You don't have to feel like it's just a repeat of everything else. So I'm glad to hear stuff like that, and I'm really glad to hear how intuitive and how much fun you're having with this pick 10 system. The only thing that I guess I'm kind of worried about is just the sheer variety. There's no way to test all these combinations, but at the same time, they mentioned that they've separated everything out in such a way that they can very quickly patch things on the fly. So I found that to be really reassuring in terms of balance. So you don't have to worry about things being a big problem. They can do these hot fixes now. So I mean, I'm sure there's things that are going to arise with so many different combinations they're not going to be able to test it all. But it definitely seems like they've got a really awesome system and a good way to tweak it on the fly once the game is released.
I
mean,
do.
to give you an idea, I mean, yes, last night we played Black Ops again, and every class I've got on Black Ops, I've had for probably 6 months now.
Yeah.
Because it's the setup I like on each of the different guns. No reason to change it because there's nothing else. I can see this time, you know, the same time period after playing Black Ops, I'll still be changing my characters and using the pick 10 system to try different setups. Yeah. And you know, and it keeps the game fresh for people, which is ultimately, you know, that's what turns a lot of people off a game. It just gets stale and boring.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely for me, that's one of the things. Like, once I got everything I needed in Black Ops, I didn't change anything, and it did start to get a little boring. And it seems like they're adding a lot of different things from the league competitive play. I'm hearing now they have thousands of challenges, and all these challenges tie into anything from getting new reticles to getting new camos. So there seems like they're adding a lot to this game to really kind of increase its overall longevity. Because I think some people were kind of worried about the drop off of Call of Duty. Each new Call of Duty that came out, people were playing it for shorter duration and falling off. But it seems like everything they're adding in and the sheer variety that's incorporated into Pick 10, it's going to keep people playing for quite some time. We'll have to wait and see, of course, but definitely everything I'm hearing so far, it sounds pretty awesome. I think. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think this could be the year that Call of Duty actually evolves into something new and exciting. And I mean, for what we've seen so far, I think there's going to be something for absolutely everyone, from the competitive players to the casual players, people who like combat training, for example, you know. So I think what they've done is they've tried to make a game that isn't just a small game with little aspects for each different people. They've made a game for a vast number of people, which a small group of people can test out, and if they don't like, they have another thing. Zombies, for example, I mean, there's a huge thing for the zombies this year. It's not just an add-on like it's been. It's like it's got its whole game mode, it's got its whole area. It's going to be brilliant.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about zombies, but you're right. They're adding a lot of stuff in there. I think, and I'm bringing up a game that maybe not a lot of people are big fans of, but Modern Warfare 2, I think one of its strongest aspects was the fact that even though I don't think it was very, very balanced, it definitely had a lot of variety in it. Like, people can set up the kill streak, or not the kill streaks, but the perks in such a way that you can be only knifing, or you can be a sniper, or you have all these different roles. But it was a tiny subset in what I think is a comparison to Black Ops 2. I mean, you take the variety that you can incorporate in Modern Warfare 2 and just increase it exponentially, and I think, yeah, it's going to have a lot of longevity. And the other thing that I just kind of wanted to bring up, we were talking about this before, Vaughn seemed to be really pushing, you said there's different avenues for different people, zombies, casual, and competitive, and it seems like Vaughn is really gung-ho about competitive play. What were your thoughts just based on the competitive aspects?
I've said this in my blog, okay, and I'll say it again publicly. I can't stand. I couldn't get the competitive side of COD. Really didn't. I mean, I used to play Wolfenstein and Enemy Territory in Cow Leagues, and I used to be a competitive player on the PC. Never got into it on the console. When you look at the COD community, especially before what we call the MLG playlist, which was officially the competitive playlist in Black Ops, there was a lot of hatred in the COD community for all the competitive players asking for their own playlists and stuff. And I'll be honest, I was one of these people. I thought it was a waste of time, and you know, it wouldn't be used a lot. Competitive players were all elitist and didn't want to hang out with things. I went to the XP and literally to the Expo. The moment you walk into the onto the show floor, obviously being Activision, they had the loudest stand, they had the noisiest stand, but you could literally hear the podcasting, the noise of the game, and more importantly, you could hear the crowd cheering. And as soon as you walk up, they had like a huge, massive screen which was showing all the podcasting to the people around the tournament table. And within about 2 minutes of started watching, I was screaming along, shouting, cheering for people, playing it as well on the tournament table as we managed to do. You get so caught up in it. I really understood it. That was like the first time I really understood like the competitive side of it. And I think this is what this game's going to do now. It's going to bring the competitive side of esports to the mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
To all those people who play COD who just thought it was a side thing and it was an elitist, it was absolutely brilliant. It was really like going to a proper sporting event. You know, okay, a lot smaller scale.
Yeah.
But you start rooting for people, you start cheering. You don't think you're just watching someone playing a video game. It was just an amazing experience, and you know, hats off to Activision on that. They really made it sort of a spectator sport there.
I mean, Stabby Wiggy, I mean, is that something that interests you at all? I mean, is that something you want to hear about, or like in terms of just the game development? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, there's going to be lots of times where you're going to want to go into just the regular community or just the regular lobbies and mess around. And then there's also times where, you know, you want to get a group together, you want to go into the competitive, and you want to go up against players that are your level and to see if you can get to that next level. I mean, I know there's plenty of people within our group that want to try that out. Now, I'm sure it's not going to be their main focus, but to know that aspect is there, it's definitely going to add something else to it. You know, we're talking about multiplayer and zombies. They also said that the single player is going to be different as well, how there's different scenarios. If you make different decisions and play it differently, that the end result could be a little bit differently. They haven't really talked a lot about that. I mean, they touched on it in the beginning, but now that they have got all this stuff to talk about, I really think that's going to be something that people start thinking about, going, wow, this is something they should have been talking about from the beginning, but they've got so much to talk about at this point. They can't talk about everything.
Yeah. Well, Stabby, like, I mean, hearing about the league play, hearing about what Mac was saying about just how they're trying to bring esports to the forefront. I mean, does this league play, does it, after hearing everything that's happened in the last 2 months, are you even more excited, or do you even care about this league play that they're introducing?
To be honest, when I first heard Black Ops 2 was coming out, I was like, nah. I mean, I took a year off of Call of Duty and I played Gears a lot, so I was just kind of sucked in on that. And then I was like, you know what? A year off of Call of Duty was really good. It didn't bother me that I didn't play the game every night or even at all. And I was like, maybe another year's not so bad. But then I heard, and I joke about Call of Duty not being competitive all the time. I joke about how it's like, you know, you can't really make the game competitive. I think there's a lot of aspects that make it kind of silly. The fast kill times are one of them. But after hearing, you know, that they're actually trying to add something to the game, like in league play wise, where like you go and it puts true skill. I mean, it's gonna take a while for that to be sorted out. But if it works like Halo, and Call of Duty actually has a decent sized population of playing the game, that maybe it will bring back that spark that I loved about Call of Duty back in the day. And I keep getting tweets and stuff. I'm trying not to make too much noise, so I'll move my phone over here. But league play, it kind of made me more excited about it. And then they kind of dropped it. They were like, oh yeah, you need 6 people all the time, the same 6. I think that's kind of a little fail. I wish you could like maybe set up a group and like have like maybe 10 people, so have like 4 alternates, 6 main people and 4 alternates. That would allow your team to progress, instead of saying, like, because I have 6 or 7 people that I play with regularly. Yeah. And so if the 7th guy, you know, jumps in for the 6th guy, well, now we start over again, and it'd be a pain in the butt to keep starting over. So maybe smaller teams of like 10 would be cooler, but I don't know. I like the idea of league play. I feel like if I'm gonna play it and my group gets the game, then that's pretty much all I'm gonna play. Mostly because of the fact that I love pub stomping because it makes for great YouTube videos, but it's just, it gets so boring. Like, you literally, there are times that I'm playing the game and I'm just staring at my screen and I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, you're like on autopilot. It's like, most of the time when you're driving to work or something, you're like, oh, holy shit, how did I get here? Like, you kind of just blank out. That's me playing Call of Duty.
Sure you haven't been drinking?
Yeah, well.
Gonna need you to blow into this tube, sir.
The other thing, Mac, that you were talking about before, I think it was the ELG. You mentioned that how they allocated the floor. League of Legends had a small space, or maybe it was StarCraft. It was a bunch of different competitive games that had really small spaces, but Call of Duty had a much, much larger space than everything. So it seems like they're really emphasizing that. Do you want to go into a little bit more detail about that at all? Or?
I'm going to get the map back up again now because you've caught me unawares. Yeah, I mean, the EGL event's happening not this weekend, the weekend after. I mean, there's I mean, it's in the UK, so we've got things like FIFA 13, which is football or soccer, as you guys call it. But as far as I know, I mean, from remembering seeing the map, the COD stand is actually one of the biggest ones there. So I think, you know, that along with Halo are going to be the two main FPSs that people are going to be playing competitively. Oh, obviously Team Fortress, but you know,
But
just from the console side.
But there were other games, like there was StarCraft there, and was League of Legends there as well? I guess they have the championships, but StarCraft was there, right?
I think so. Let me just check.
It's interesting because those games like League of Legends and StarCraft, those are the top tier competitive games. So to see Call of Duty take up most of the floor room is really interesting. It seems like they're really trying to drive and make Call of Duty not just a fun competitive experience, but actually make it viable and marketable so people want to watch it. Because, like, for those of you who may not know, League of Legends, the World Championships are going on right now, and there's hundreds of thousands of people watching those streams, either from the League of Legends client to Twitch TV to OWN. It has actually a very big mass appeal, and it seems like it has potential to grow. And I'm curious to see if they can get COD to the point where it can compete in terms of views with something like that. StarCraft and League of Legends are huge. They get a lot of attention. So it seems like they're really trying to push forward to it. And hearing how they're allocating the floor space, how they're putting a little bit more attention to Call of Duty, it'd be interesting to see how they're going to direct it in the future. Me personally, I don't think Call of Duty is in depth enough. That could change with this Pick 10 system, but I don't think it has enough depth to be as interesting, at least on a competitive level, as say something like Counter-Strike or switch genres and go League of Legends or StarCraft. But I could be wrong. It could be very interesting to see how that develops. I mean, we talked about this a little bit before, but Wiggy or Stab or Mac, would any of you guys really watch it at home? I know
No.
It was a different experience when you were there, surrounded by people, but say you knew there was a stream for a competitive Call of Duty match. Was that something that you'd be interested in watching, or you don't really
Again, if you'd have asked me this question last week, I would have said not a hope.
Mm-hmm.
This week, definitely. If it was, and especially if it was someone I'd met at the Expo, definitely. Because I'm hooked. Take my money. I get the whole competitive scene over here now, and it's something I really want to get involved with, and sort of like actually start following a bit more than just knocking it like you have been. You eat more humble pie.
and that's saying a lot, because Mac and I were both especially on the COD HQ, we were two of the biggest people to say, oh, MLG, whatever, blah blah blah, MLG. But if Mac's saying that just the experience that he got over there during EuroGamer, that it turned him on to it, that says a lot, because that's just one experience.
I mean, Wiggy knows. I mean, anyone who knows me from the COD HQ forum knows, especially on the Black Ops, when I was so vehemently against having an MLG competitive playlist. I really couldn't see the point. I couldn't stand all the little MLG kids. And, not just being disrespectful, but that would be like the little 12-year-old ones with MLG in their clan tag with the 400 hits.
I feel like I'm being put on blast here. I feel like they're hating on me.
No.
But,
we don't judge you, sir.
We don't. But as Wiggy said, I mean, we didn't like the competitive players. I made no bones about it. It's the same as I've said this time meeting the YouTube community now. I mean, my opinion of these guys has totally changed as well. But it's just because now I've actually experienced it, which I think in one way is probably what happened to Van when he went last year to the MLG event. Because before it was something he didn't really experience. And then when he went, actually saw it going on, spoke to the people, he came back, and this is the result. The new game is very for the competitive player.
It's very drastically changed, so that is interesting. So I mean, Stabby, would you? Yeah, I think you said before you wouldn't watch Call of Duty.
No, I'm gonna get some flack for this, especially since I'm picking the game up. But I think Call of Duty is boring to watch, and that is from somebody who puts up Call of Duty content. I most of the time when somebody else is doing a commentary and they're doing it over Call of Duty gameplay, I mean, I've seen it, I've done it, it's not that big a deal. The only ones I actually watch are montages, just because most of the time I watch those for the editing, but the actual gameplay is so boring. I've done it a bajillion times. Like, I guess it's because, and I don't want to like toot my own horn here, but I'm pretty good at the game, so It's not hard.
No, don't toot your horn.
It's not hard to like do that. So it doesn't like take any skill, and I feel like it's just boring to watch. But I mean, I would watch it maybe the first time for like a couple minutes to see, you know, if it piques my interest. But I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't watch it for more than 30 minutes.
So seeing somebody like an Optic or, you know, somebody like that, I mean, but considering that, because I mean, I give you a hard time about it, but I know you can play at that level as well. So that's why it's not impressive to you, because you watch people do that and you're like, yeah, I can do that. But at
And
the
I
same
can.
time, Gorilla, you know, has mentioned that, you know, because we watched, you know, the stuff from Germany, and there's a lot of people that said, you know, I don't see what's so impressive about those guys. And Gorilla made a good point, going, well, you know, they were new to it. Not to mention the fact that they're not exactly going to pull out their all-star stuff right in the beginning when they're not very knowledgeable about it. Plus,
the other thing is they probably wanted to highlight all the different guns. They didn't want, because normally in competitive play they always are going to use the best guns, but in that situation they're probably like, try to use the LMG, try to use the sniper rifle. And I'm not saying the teams are doing that. I'm saying probably Activision in the background saying, go ahead and showcase all these different aspects of it.
right.
Me personally, I'm kind of in the same boat as Stabby, at least up to this point. I just don't think Call of Duty has enough depth to it. I think it's because you start with whatever class you want. I don't think it's as exciting to watch as, say, something like Counter-Strike that has the money system and the economy involved. But that could change because of the Pick 10 system. I've heard, I mean, obviously Mac has definitely reinforced this idea as well, but you can drastically change your role. You can have somebody who's a dedicated objective player, somebody who's a slayer, somebody who's a support to the objective player. You can change all these different roles, and I'm really interested to see how that develops. I mean, that could really change things around and make the game much more interesting to watch. Me, as it is right now, I don't really want to watch it competitively, but that could change, and they're definitely making a push to make it change. But we've talked about competitive in the past, and I feel like we're dragging on a little bit more. One of the things I do want to talk about, we've talked about the Pick 10, but just in general, how does the game play, Mac? Like, compare it to, say, Modern Warfare 2 or Black Ops. Is the pacing faster? Is it slower? What are your general thoughts on just how it plays right now?
Okay, bearing in mind we played over a LAN, so, you know, you'd expect a good connection.
Yeah.
It's definitely faster paced than Black Ops was.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's as fast paced as a Modern Warfare game is, but it's up there. I mean, I had this conversation on forums today, actually, with someone thinking about it. I'd say it's the best. It's a happy medium between Black Ops style gameplay and a Modern Warfare game, and that's Modern Warfare in general, which was fast. It was frenetic.
Yes.
You were thrown straight into the action. I mean, we played multi-team deathmatch and kill confirmed. And okay, I'll be honest, there was a few issues with the spawns on some of the maps, but when you've got 4 teams of 3 running about on a very small map, which is what we were playing,
Yeah.
you know, everyone's all over the place. No one really knows the areas properly. You're going to have the odd glitchy spawn, but I mean, you know, that's something that can be worked on. But it definitely played a lot faster than, say, Black Ops does.
Okay.
Black Ops for me was you could sort of sit back a bit, take your time. We play Modern Warfare, it's more of you're running in, you're thrown straight in the action, which I actually prefer because I like running and gunning. And I found it, you know, it was a perfect mix between the two. It had the best elements of, say, Black Ops with the best elements of a Modern Warfare game.
That's great to hear. Now, the other thing, obviously you didn't have, like you said, you didn't have much time to play all the different games, but at least from what you've seen, what would you say, what route do you think they took with the level design? Do you think they're kind of in the same standard they were with Black Ops? Do you think they're larger? Do you think they're smaller? What are your thoughts on just the overall level design right now?
I'll be honest, I've got a bit of a sort of love for tryout level designers. One of them, a guy called Paulo on Twitter, Paulo88. He's an English guy, and he's some of the best maps in Black Ops were down to him and the guys he worked with. The level design of the maps we saw so far was absolutely brilliant.
Okay.
I mean, bearing in mind we'd never played the maps before, we'd only really seen them in a video. As soon as you get into the map, it's really easy to work out where the action is from a mini-map. You know, there's the traditional, you've got your 3 routes with little extra bits aside. There was brilliant lines of sight. There was great areas for close quarter combats, and unlike a certain recent COD game I could mention, you could actually run without bumping into something every 2 seconds or getting hooked on something. You know, someone's actually taken the time to check to make sure the maps work really well, and the flow of them was really good. Really enjoyed them.
So do you think? Well, do you think they're larger or smaller? Or do you think they're about the same as Black Ops? Or
from what I've seen, I'd say they're probably, want of a better description, medium to large size for Black Ops.
Okay.
From the ones we've seen so far. I mean, a couple of the maps are quite small, but I'm trying to think of a map to compare them with, and bigger than, say, like Nuketown. I'd say more like firing range size.
Summit and firing range.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, the good maps, which were not too big, they were not too small. They had brilliant areas to fight in, brilliant areas to play in. Yeah, good lines of sight. What I will say though is that the color palette in this game compared to Black Ops is so much brighter.
That's great to hear. That was my chief complaint with Black Ops. Was it was like they would take it like a dull color, and that would be the entire theme for the map. It would just be like grays and browns. But I've noticed that from the videos, and it's great to hear that too, that they've actually tried to brighten things up with this game.
It looks like Modern Warfare 3. Like, I saw a video of it, and it was... I think it was like a montage from CNanners. I don't even know how I got to him. I'm not subscribed to him, but it was... It looked almost exactly the same color system. It was a little bit brighter. You can tell it was a different game, and the graphics were a little bit different, but you could overall tell that the palette that they used was very, very similar to some of the maps on Modern Warfare 3 or Modern Warfare 2.
Someone's just said on the feed to ask about the spawns. Like I said, the spawns on when we played the multi-team deathmatch, there was a couple of iffy instances, but again, you know, you're going to get that on any map. From the other games we played, I really couldn't find an issue with the spawns. I mean, it wasn't like you spawned, died, spawned, died, spawned, died. You know, there was a couple of times again on the multi-team deathmatch where someone just appeared straight in my sights, which, you know, brilliant. I got a free key out of it. But I'd say the spawns, from what we've seen so far, are working as they should, and they're definitely far, far better than Modern Warfare 3 spawns ever were or could be.
That's good to hear. I think that's one of the problems. That, go ahead.
Can we go back to the Pick 10, because I wanted to talk about this a little earlier.
Go ahead.
Do you feel like it would be easy? I mean, there's a lot of things you can do with it, but do you feel like it's too easy to make like super classes? And what I mean by that is like, we'll take Ghost because it's the easiest one that I've seen. There's like 5 perks for Ghost, but it just feels like you could sort of make like the ultimate character and not have any repercussions of it. Sure, you don't get a secondary weapon, but you could probably still pick one up anyway. Do you feel like that there's no easy way to make a superclass, or do you feel like there is a lot of superclasses? I don't really know what I'm trying to say, but whoa, you got dark.
Yeah, no, I think I understand what you mean. It's just like I said earlier, you're gonna get, I'd say, within an hour, 2 hours of the game actually being out, one of the big don't try not to look at Wiggy now. One of the big YouTubers is going to come up with, this is the best class, everyone needs to use this class, and everyone's going to use it for a while. And yeah, you can make your stealth class, yeah, you can make your run and gun class, but you know, if you make a class that you think is going to be overpowered, I almost guarantee there is going to be a setup which will counteract that, and you'll be sitting there screaming your head off, button mashing on the forums, claiming that something's overpowered because it killed you. I mean, again, we've got Blackbirds back, so, you know, even if you are a stealth class, if you've got someone on the other team that's playing the objective, you're going to appear on the screen. And again, as I've said for God knows how many years on the COD forums, the easiest counter to a stealth class is just to actually use your bloody eyes when you play the game, because miraculously, the people with Ninja and Ghost and Assassin, you can see them on your screen if you don't look at the minimap.
The other thing too is that explosives are going to be so prevalent that you're going to want to use something like Flak Jacket, because the RCXD is the lowest point streak.
Oh God!
Grenades and tubes are back. Not to mention that those hunter killer drones are the next level up from explosives. So that's something people are going to have to take into account. That's what Mac means by you can make a killer stealth class, but you're going to be so vulnerable to explosives. You're going to change.
Well, that my stealth class was just because that seems to be like the biggest issue with people. Like I bitch about Ghost, but it's really just like a cop out. I mean, most of the time it's my fault because Max Wright, use your damn eyes, and you'll see them, but it's just like, oh, that guy had Ghost, he killed me. Even if we were both looking at each other and he outgunned me, sometimes I'll get frustrated and just blame it on that. But it's kind of scary that you say that explosives are going to be a big deal, because I don't know how I feel about that either. Like, I love Flak Jacket, but I don't know how I feel about like explosives running the game.
I think this is the one thing I've always wished they'd actually do with COD, is just get rid of the damn minimap as standard, and you only get a minimap if you call it in as a UAV.
That's a good idea.
Because, coming from hardcore where we don't have a minimap until someone calls in a UAV, it makes so much difference to the game, and then it opens up the game to more types of people wanting to play different play styles, because they're not going to appear on the minimap. And again, if you want to be a stealth class, get rid of your high kill streaks, which is going to get your KDR up, and equip a counter spy plane, or what counter UAV, what it is in this game. I think what they're going to do with the Pick 10, it's going to make people want to make classes that actually help their team more than just helping themselves, which I think can only be a good thing for pub play now.
Real quick, we have some questions from the stream. I'll go ahead and go back. We kind of touched base on this. Rattlehead wanted to know what color, or would the color palette be kind of similar to Modern Warfare 2? I guess compared to Modern Warfare 3, I don't know. Do you think the color palette for the levels look more like Modern Warfare 2 at all?
Yeah, I'd say that's a fair assessment. Yep, definitely.
I didn't play Modern Warfare 3, but was there a difference in them too?
At times, I mean, I think the bolder colors, like the reds, the yellows, the greens, were more vibrant in Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, okay.
Virgo
everybody
asking,
agree with that statement, by the way?
I can't.
Yeah, I mean, probably the best way, if we to compare it to previous tryout games, for Black Ops, the color palette would be more on par with, say, Nuketown and Firing Range. And
okay, good. Those are the brighter maps.
Castle, whatever the Castle remake was called, I can't think offhand.
Because even still, they're still using that Black Ops engine that still has kind of a drab feel to it. But the fact that they're introducing these brighter colors, I think Nuketown is fine. And if they kind of follow that same approach to the other maps, I'm going to be fine with the overall approach to the colors. Virgo asked, do you think the grenades, where do you think the grenades are closest to? She said Modern Warfare 3 or Black Ops, but I even go back to COD 4 or Modern Warfare 2.
Oh god, COD 4.
What do you think about the grenades? Can you throw Zeus grenades like you can in COD 4? Or are grenades even useful? What are your thoughts?
I'd say they're probably on par with Black Ops grenades, where the range is pretty good, they kill people. To be honest, I didn't actually try Flak Jacket, so I couldn't really comment. But I mean, what I was doing, because we were playing a lot of the pro players and stuff, was I was using the stick charge thing. You toss it out.
Oh, it's like a
shock
knife,
stick
but it
thing.
tases people.
Yeah, the shock
That's
charge.
right. And what I was doing, if I knew someone was around, I'd throw that out, shock them, and then throw a grenade, which I found to be an absolutely deadly combination. And I mean, I managed to get a few stickies with Semtex and stuff, but yeah, definitely more Black Ops type grenade than Modern Warfare grenade.
That's good to hear. I think the way Modern Warfare, not Modern Warfare, Black Ops, the way they instituted grenades was perfect. And then one other question, ES Morg said, how did you try any guns with silencers, and how did it affect those guns?
I didn't actually. I can't think of anyone who did. Maybe one of the guys in the stream might have. But
I think Cambo answered that, but I would imagine it'd be similar to how they did it. I don't think they've done any changes to it. I think it's damage drop off over range. That's about it. And then it might change the recoil pattern, but I don't know if any new kind of things they've implemented into it. I could be wrong though, but we'll see.
Cambo says, I guess from Ball Lake, it says sticky aim is less prevalent. Is that like something you noticed, or?
Again, we played over land, so
okay.
whatever I say has to come with a whacky rate. disclaimer, but
Definitely.
I really didn't notice that thing that you get in Black Ops a lot, which is if you're ADS in a doorway, your guns going all over the place, you know, as people run past. It was kind of staying dead center, which was good. So
Okay.
I think the aim assist has been turned down quite a lot, and you know, it seemed to be, again, because it was on land, everything that I hit that I should have hit, I got a hit marker when I should have got a hit marker, or I was expecting to get a hit marker, you know, like a shot distance on the body. If I hit someone in the head, they invariably turned around and killed me because I'm crap at the game. But you know, they died when they were supposed to. It was spot on, again, saying it was on land. That answers the question.
And I guess, okay, and then one of the questions I have, they mentioned they've tweaked Ghost a little bit. I think it only works with UAVs now. It's kind of like how I think Modern Warfare 3 works, where it only affects UAV. But it only works if you're moving. Do you think that it seems like they're doing that to reduce the overall use of Ghost? But do you think that's going to make an effect? Do you think Ghost is going to be just as prevalent as it was in Black Ops? What are your thoughts? Did you use Ghost at all when you were playing?
Do you know what? I'll be honest. I've never used a stealth class.
Mm-hmm.
I really think it's a waste of a perk slot. Again,
I agree.
I play hardcore mostly. But
Yeah.
Hardcore is my favourite game mode, and you know, our UAVs only last for I think 30 seconds or so in Modern Warfare 3. You die a lot anyway. People can spot you. I've really never seen the point of actually staying stealthy. Just don't get it at all. I think what they've done with this game, though, with the, as you said, with the moving thing, is brilliant, because it is going to stop those idiots who just sit in a corner camping with Ghost and you could never see them. But then again, it's Black Ops, so we've got, you know, the Blackbird or the VSAT that it is in this game, which actually is easy to get and counters, you know, the stealth player.
Well, I've got two questions real quick. Are there decoys returning at all? Do you know if that's because that was kind of what there's. I guess the two counters to Blackbirds was decoys and the counter UAV. Do you know if decoys are coming back at all?
Do you know what? I can't actually think offhand.
I haven't heard any mention.
I'll now go check while I'm actually looking.
Okay.
But I honestly can't remember.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything about that. And the other things that I wanted to ask you about. I guess since you didn't use Ghost, you can't really comment, but I'm just curious, how much do you have to move for it to register you, or for you to not appear on an enemy UAV? Because I think one of the ways people are going to combat, you know, this, you have to move so you don't show up on UAV, is they'll just sit in a corner and they'll just, you know, roll in a circle with their thumbstick. I mean, do you have to move several meters, or maybe it's just a couple feet? I guess
I can't comment because I didn't see. You know, I didn't see it, and again, I never look at the mini-map when I play, but I would have assumed if they've put as much care and thought and consideration into that aspect as they seem to have done with everything else, it's going to be, they've anticipated that some idiot is going to sit there with their thumb twiddling around in circles. So, you know, hopefully, we will see.
I mean, like, what do you guys, Wiggy, Stabby, I mean, I know Stabby, you're not a big fan of Ghost. I'm not a fan of Ghost either.
I can see people trying to get around that. I mean, just like Max said, but I don't know how. I mean, if you make it very small, I mean, standing still, I mean, literally in a corner, prone or squatting down in a corner, obviously they should. But like you said, if they take one step forward or one step back, is that going to warrant moving? I mean, does that validate moving and keep them off the map? Because if it does, it kind of defeats the whole point.
I would think, like Mac was saying, with how they've approached everything, I would definitely hope that they would take that into consideration. So I would imagine it'd be a fairly large margin, but we'll see. But I mean, do you guys? A lot of people are saying that Ghost is still going to be overused. At least some of the comments I've heard from people that played it. But I don't know. Do you guys anticipate, Stabby? Do you think that Ghost is going to be as prevalent as it was in Black Ops?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
not a hater.
In the beginning, I think so.
I'm not a hater. I just feel like, because I have a Ghost class, and I use it when one of two things happen. I'm getting my shit pushed in, or two, for some reason, the enemy team actually is smart and used UAVs. And I mean, like, constantly, because I'm not the one to run around with a launcher. I almost never have an anti-air, anti-tank, any class. Like, I just don't carry that stuff because I play TDM, and most of the time when I play TDM, I play the full team. So once again, not to toot my own horn, I don't get kill streaks called on.
Go ahead and toot.
I don't get kill streaks called on me. I think in the entirety of Black Ops, I have died by a chopper gunner less than 30 times. And out of those 30 times, most of them are probably from a care package. I don't know. I think Ghost will be easy to use, and I think a lot of people will just go straight to it, like Wiggy said in the beginning. Maybe it won't work out that well, and
I think when they see it fail a few days in, then they'll back off of it.
It's separated like it is in Black Ops, though, right? Ghost only works with UAV. You're not.
Yeah, Ghost. Well, there's like 6 perks. There's Ghost. There's Cold Blooded. There's Dead Silence. There's Awareness, which is I think needs to be tweaked because the description of it is ridiculous.
What is awareness?
It's like sit rep.
It's sit rep, but the description is makes enemy footsteps 4 times as loud. 4 times. So.
I also want to talk about the audio here in a second. We need to talk about that.
Yeah. There's one. Oh, Blind Eye's in there too. Blind Eye is I believe it's it's player controlled kill streaks. They don't show you up as a red box. Cold Blooded, I believe, and Mac, you can probably correct me if I'm wrong. Is AI controlled kill streaks don't target you, like the cock block chopper won't attack you. Dead Silence, like I said, obvious, and then a Ghost is just UAVs. Oh, and Hardwired is enemy EMPs and counter UAVs don't affect you. So there's like a bajillion perks for this.
A bajillion, you say?
A bajillion.
1 bajillion.
So you think Ghost is gonna be as prevalent? Wiggy, you think Ghost is going to be around in the beginning and it's going to drop off a little bit? And Mac,
I don't care. I play hardcore.
There you go. Doesn't even matter.
Core players can do what you want.
Yeah. There we go. Now the other question I have is with the audio, because at least the other issue I've always had with Black Ops is I don't think the audio is up to par with, say, Modern Warfare 2. I think, like, in terms of footsteps, you can't hear them as clear as you can as Black Ops. And the ambient noise that existed in that game, I absolutely hated it. I hated hearing trains go by in WMD. I hated the rocket that was going off. So my question to you, Mac, is there still kind of like map interaction? Like, are there things going on in the background? And what were your overall thoughts with the sound quality of the game?
I'd actually coined a term in my blog when I was actually describing this. I'm going to say, first of all, I'm not sure if it was the same for just on the regular stand, but on the tournament stand, we had the new Turtle Beach's X, whatever they were, with the little amplifier boxes. Yeah. And my ears were having audiogasms. It just sounded amazing. There was, again, it's probably down to, the headsets we were using, but obviously it comes from the game to start with. The explosions had real depth. The gunfire, it felt like a real gun. Not, you could actually identify with the gun being a gun as opposed to just that weird wishy sounds you get in Modern Warfare 3. Running about, you had echoing noises, you had footsteps, you had, as you said, the ambient noises, and it just brought you straight into the game. It was
ambient noises, like, are they something that kind of subtly adds to the effect, or like for me, the train that went across in WMD, that was jarring. Like, that would take me out of it because it was so loud, and it would just overpower everything else. Is this subtle, or is this? I mean, are these background noises, are they really a huge factor when you're playing the game?
I think it's like, I can't think of what map it was in Black Ops now. So there was there's one bit where you run under the tunnel, like underneath the tower. If you actually stop, there was actually like dripping water sound. You could only hear it for like literally a second. Okay. Just as you run past it. There's that sort of thing. I hope they learnt the lesson from where they deafened half the community with, say, like Kowloon with the airplane that flew across as soon as the map started, and especially the stupid map with the missiles with the Pac-Man tower.
Launch. Yes.
Yeah, no. Is it Launch?
Silo. Oh, Silo.
That's that was a friggin' disaster.
I hated that.
Wait, what was wrong with Silo?
Because you would have these missile launch sounds every so often.
Oh yeah. Okay, I didn't play the DLC that much. Okay, yeah, I remember now.
Yeah. So I mean, my biggest gripe with Black Ops was the color palette, and it seems like they're improving that. And my second problem was the
sound,
both the sound quality and the fact that the ambient noise would overpower everything. And it seems like they've adjusted that. So it's great to hear that the overall quality is improved.
But on the subject, Sam, one thing I will add, which was sorely missed from Modern Warfare 3, which we all have demanded and asked for, was you can actually turn game music volume down and sound volume down. They were on separate sliders.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of the things that they did really well with Black Ops is returning, like the objective, like they show who caps, who defends. And
That's
stuff
back.
Like that. Is that returning as well?
I'm buying the game now. I'm buying the game now.
Okay, so for kill confirmed in the scoreboard, does it say the people? Does it have like a distinguishing area for people who confirmed kills versus people that just slayed? Like, how was that scoreboard for kill confirmed?
I think there was. Can't remember exactly because I'd done appallingly bad and I didn't want to look at the scoreboard at the end. But I'm sure there was actually. There's definitely objective columns. Okay. So I'm assuming there's confirms and denies in there.
Because I think that was I mean, I didn't play much, but I think one of the problems I had when the small time I did play Modern Warfare 3 is even though like you could have somebody at the top of the list and have a horrible like K to D, but you don't know what he did in terms of captures and or not captures but confirms. So it's nice to see that incorporated in there as well. And go ahead.
One thing that really bugged me with Modern Warfare 3 was that you didn't have the objective stats. But it's just as well we didn't have a new premium service that launched with Modern Warfare 3, but basically relied on you having, objective stats like confirms, denies, caps and stuff for maybe, I don't know, clan competitions where you didn't actually want that sort of information. But, someone decided it was a design feature that they didn't need.
Yeah.
Luckily, Tryout didn't agree.
I guess the one thing, at least the one thing that really hurt Modern Warfare 3 is obviously they had that whole debacle with the bonuses and with the leads and a large portion of Infinity Ward leaving during Modern Warfare 2's time frame. So they had to bring in a new dev team later in the development cycle than probably the norm. So these guys had to get adjusted to the engine and then start developing at a later. It was kind of crunch time, but even still, a product as popular and the amount of revenue they bring in, you'd expect a higher quality with Modern Warfare 3, and stuff like that. People wanted to see the separated volume schematics and the different objective incorporated. I don't think there's anybody out there who prefers the Modern Warfare 3 scoreboard scheme versus Black Ops. So even though
Kill Horse.
I guess Kill Horse, but even though they might not have been able to achieve it initially when the game first released, you'd hope they would have made those adjustments later on down the cycle. But what are you going to do?
I just read that. Can we please stop talking about Modern Warfare 3? Because I have a feeling somebody in the feed at the moment is actually going to run their head through the nearest wall because they're crying at the moment.
Yeah, well, no, that's fine. I played Modern Warfare 3 for like a couple days and never played it again, so I'm fine with never talking about it ever.
It's just our current point of reference.
Yeah, it's the closest thing that we can talk about.
Balleg says that he confirms that confirms and denies are shown in the scoreboard. So just to because the guys who are going to see this on YouTube aren't going to see that in the chat. I just wanted to clear that up.
I just have to mention you guys might notice a theme here with the whole weekend, which is I don't remember anything. James and VA actually seems to remember everything.
Yeah.
That's alcohol and open bar. That's what that does. Is there any other questions maybe from the stream or anything that you guys want to ask in particular? I'm going to real quickly highlight a couple other things, but there's anything specifically that you guys want to discuss relative to Black Ops 2? Wiggy, Stabby?
I say open it to the stream before, that way we can kind of get it going.
Yeah. Is there any questions from the stream? Anything you guys want to talk about?
While they're gathering their questions, I think everybody agrees that in domination, kills and deaths probably shouldn't be shown at all, just caps and defends. Right?
That's fine.
Actually, that brings up a good point. We didn't get to play, but it should be worth noting, domination now is actually a 2-round game mode.
Yeah,
so
right.
You play half one side, then it swaps over on the second half. So which I think is a brilliant idea because, as everyone knows, every map you want to either cap A and B or C and B when you have that advantage. Mm-hmm. That's gone now. Your score continues as from you carry over from round, but you can't. You've lost that thing now of saying, "Oh, it wasn't fair because we spawned at A or we spawned at C." Everyone's going to get an equal chance now, and I think that's a brilliant idea what they've done. I think it's actually come from a competitive.
It is. So it has.
Props to them.
Yeah, no, that's definitely where that originated from. Well, then, okay, that actually brings up another point. I've heard this, from tweets and from other YouTubers and just through the forums in general. Uh, you apparently it's much harder to get high-end score streaks if you're just a kill whore. Like, there's a lot of people they'll jump into domination. They don't care about the objective. They just worry about killing people, getting the. I guess if we're going to talk about Black Ops, they're worried about getting chopper dogs or Blackbird. They're not worried about going for the objective. But from my understanding, it's difficult to get those high-end kill streaks if you're not playing for the objective. I mean, is there any validity in that statement? What are your thoughts?
Yes, it depends on the game mode. If you're playing team deathmatch or free for all or mercenary team deathmatch, whatever, it's for kills. Obviously, because there's nothing else. If you're playing objectives, they've tailored the score streak. So if you aggressively play the objectives and get kills, you'll get higher score streaks quicker than if you just sit back and camp and go for the scores. So you're still going to get people who will sit over, say, a domination point and snipe, or and get the kills. They're going to get their score streaks are going to go up really slowly compared to the guy who ran out, took B, ran back, shot someone. So I think that's brilliant because it's actually rewarding objective play where objective play should be rewarded, and it's stopping the KDR freaks just coming into an objective mode to get these big high score streaks, because they're not going to do it. Or they're going to do it, but it's going to take 3/4 of a game before they get to higher streaks.
Yeah. So do they actually, like, the number of points you need to get, say, the highest kill streak in TDM, does that change versus domination, or it's just the points that you get in those respective
games? As far
as
I'm not 100%, but as far as I'm aware, the points differ between the different game modes. Like they have in all games. Like, I mean, for example, in hardcore, you get more points if you kill someone than you do in core. Or, in domination, you get, say, 100 points for capping the flag, but you only get 50 for shooting someone. So I think they've tailored it so it's specific to each game mode.
Okay. All right. That's pretty cool. Now, the other thing is specialist making a return at all? I guess not with the pick 10 system. Like that.
No.
Okay,
I think they've killed specialist off and the support skill streaks. They basically, I know it's going to sound really nasty, and I apologise more for bringing it up again, but from the game that I won't mention, the only thing they've taken from that is kill confirmed.
All right. Well, that's interesting, that approach.
And I liked kill confirmed a lot. Like, when I played it a little bit more than you, Bernie, but I really liked that game mode, and I was almost, again, not tooting my own horn, I was almost always at the top of the leaderboards. And let me preface this with a little star. Not because I was out slaying everybody, because God knows I did not have fun playing that game. I got my ass kicked on there. I had below a 2. It was bad. It was just bad. Bad games for me. But I was the only person picking up tags. Like, I was the only... Like, there were times where, like, you'd see a dude who had, like, 40 kills, and I had, like, 17, but I'd be above him on the leaderboards. And it was only because I'd run around and grab all his tags. And it's not because, he couldn't get to him before I am, like I was stealing his tags. It's just that he wouldn't even go for him. And I blame a lot of YouTubers for that, because you'll see gameplay where they go into kill confirmed and they like, there's a tag like right in front of them. Here, how can I put this? They're here. They shoot a guy, the tag, and then they just run away. Like, you could have just grabbed it and ran away. But I liked kill confirmed. But there's one thing, and a lot of people wanted it was that you had to confirm your kills to get your kill streak, and I think they should have added that, because Crysis does a good job with that. As far as I know, when you kill somebody, they drop a dog tag, and your kill streaks don't happen until you go and actually pick up that dog tag. So, where the hell did Bernie go? He's the mediator.
Oh no, it'll be chaos.
I'm not tooting it anymore. I'm stroking it, apparently. Good God.
I'm scratching it.
What else did I see earlier than the thing? Oh, Ballig says his reply to domination, apparently 2-round dom is only in league play. So do you remember now if it's only in league play, or is he lying to us?
I don't know. I just remember reading it had 2 rounds, so I had assumed it was in all modes.
Okay, well, either way, it's still fun.
I wouldn't listen to BA anyway. He plays Gears of War, so
hey,
really not got a clue what he's talking about half the time.
Love me some Gears of War.
I saw a question that Mac had to answer. Did you do the unnecessary dolphin dive while you were playing?
Yeah, how is that?
Funny story here. I actually don't remember being able to dolphin dive, but I was reading on the COD forums, and a few people had said that they hadn't noticed dolphin diving, like when they tried at EuroGamer. But I then posted in my blog, but I didn't know if the build we were playing had dolphin diving, or I was just an idiot and couldn't work out the buttons because someone had put a stupid setup on my controller the first time. But Cambo and James seemed to be absolutely convinced that there was dolphin diving, and I was just a noob and didn't work out which button to press. So.
I don't know if you asked it while I was gone. I think you answered it in the stream, but just to reiterate, did you notice if you got an additional point streak for defending flags in domination?
Again, we didn't play Dom, so I can only go with what I've seen. And it looks like you get the standard. I think whatever mode they showed in the videos they've shown so far, I think it was like plus 50 points or something. Right. So, but I think it's going to count towards an objective thing because, defense and captures were always for 2 score on the 2 scores. Sheets for Black Ops.
Well, then, if you guys have any questions in the stream, we'll talk about them. But I'll just real quickly just jump on a couple other things to highlight. Kill Confirm, you mentioned before, is making a return. Hardpoint is their new big game mode. For me, it sounds like King of the Hill from Gears of War 3. There's a point.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, from what I've read of Hardpoint, I just looked at it, read it, said that's King of the Hill under a different name. Move on. It's not really doing it for me. It's just a fancy HQ game mode, really.
And Stabby, you said you weren't really thrilled about it either. You thought if they have HQ, then why are they adding it?
It's not that I'm not thrilled of it. It's just it's kind of like
it's too similar to everything else.
It seems like it's HQ. Are you all right?
Wiggy is about to die. We're gonna.
Wiggy
is trying to kill me.
You okay, Wiggy?
Yeah, I'm gonna make it.
Okay. I just feel like I haven't played it obviously. I'm not one of the lucky few guys that got to go. I'm very sad and very jelly. But it just seems like
your own horn.
What? How does that? It's gonna be like my new saying, like not to toot my own horn, but I'm the best Call of Duty player out there. And now there's dogs.
Oh, I thought I muted out.
No, you're still going, Wiggy. There you go. Go ahead, Stabby.
So it just feels like you're saying it's King of the Hill, like that's what everybody's referencing it as, and that's cool. But to me, Headquarters feels like King of the Hill in the sense that there's this box or hill that you have to get to capture it, and then the other team has to break it if you capture it. And once you capture it, you have to defend it, and if you're on the other end, once the enemy captures it, you have to try and destroy it. You don't get to cap it back, you just destroy it. And King of the Hill in a lot of games, like in Gears 2, when you capped it, you couldn't respawn. And that's just like HQ is. So to me, in the traditional sense, it feels just like Headquarters with a different name. So I don't know how it's going to play.
Well, I think it's going to play like King of the Hill, but I just don't think... Yeah, I can see how you don't think it's as necessary, how you feel kind of like it's just a slight difference from TDM. I guess Kill Confirmed you can kind of say is a slight difference from TDM as well. So, I don't know. We'll see how it plays. I really like King of the Hill in Gears of War 3, so that could play out differently. Also, there's a multi-team TDM, which, Mac, you said you played, and you get approval, thumbs up. That was fun, or... Yeah.
I loved it. It was brilliant fun.
All right, so that seems like... How big are the teams again? Is it teams of 3 or 4?
The matches we played, it was 4 teams to 3.
Okay.
But I think, again, don't quote me because this is just what I've read. I think they're doing on private matches and like the ground war type things. They're going to have like 3 teams of 6 or 3 teams of 4, for example. But it just made... At the beginning, you kind of start, and it's a bit like just playing normal team deathmatch because you've got your team and then you're basically shooting everyone else. But then you start noticing, when you start seeing the score like go up and you see your team's not in the lead and there's 2 other teams in front of you, you start doing that much harder just because you want to get further up. And which is, again, going back to the competitive thing, having the little screen with the score in front of you and you could actually see your rankings, it just adds to the excitement of when you're playing like the competitive side. But yeah, I can see the attraction, and I can see a lot of interesting tactics coming up. You know, when the game goes live and people actually get to play it, because you know you're not just against one team. You've got to think about what the other team's going to do. Are they going to try and flank you? Are they just going to run about? You know, so it's going to be interesting, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the modes that I'm looking forward to. What else is there to highlight on? Apparently, I mentioned earlier that there's thousands and thousands of challenges, or not thousands, but apparently thousands of challenges that you can do, and they can tie into a bunch of different things. But when you prestige, they say the same. Like, I don't think we talked about this earlier, but like, say if you have, like in Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops, every time you prestige, you can reset like your FAMAS kills, and you can unlock those very quickly. But now it's persistent. So if you say you hit challenge level 3 on the FAMAS, that's permanent, even if you prestige. And Stabby, you said you weren't a fan of that, and
I can kind of go either or on that. I like the fact that way I could actually max out everything, because I'm a completionist, but I don't know. I try to get every challenge I've completely done to the fullest. Like, I've almost finished COD 4, although I'll never finish it. But the way that they're going, I'll be able to finish all the guns. You know, if I play it a lot, if I actually like the game, I'll be able to, say I use the FAMAS, even though it's not in the game, but I use the FAMAS all the way through, get my 1,000 kills with it. Then I can go to the next gun, max it out, and get it all done. And then, or with the other way, it's easier to rank up. So, like, you know, you're guaranteed, like, your 10,000 or 15,000 experience with the old system. Now you don't have that with the new system, because they don't reset. So once you hit the max, you're done. So I don't know. Because part of prestiging for me is the race. So the race to get to the top.
Do you know, I've got to agree with Stabby here. I actually prefer every time you prestige, you have to level up the gun again, because it's part of the prestiging thing. But then also, saying that, if you ask me halfway through a prestige, I'll say I absolutely hate the fact you have to level your gun up again, because you have to level your gun up again.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of 50-50 on it, to be honest. Especially, I'm one of these people, I find a gun, I really like it, I'll use it throughout the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the feeling that if after a few prestiges I've leveled the gun as far as I can go with it, I'm going to lose interest in it, and I'm going to want to use another gun. So
let's see what else. We'll just real quickly try to run through everything else. YY is back. If you're not familiar with that, that's just a way to cancel reload. So sometimes you might be in a gunfight, kill somebody, you start to reload, and someone else runs the corner. You can real quickly YY. It'll bring your gun back up, so you can stop that. And then I think you can also use it to reload slightly faster as well. I think Stabby, you like to use the sprint technique.
Yep.
But I use YY. I prefer that. The emblem editor, I think we were discussing this a little while back. We were wondering if it was going to make a return. Apparently it is, and not only is it coming back, but instead of being limited to, I believe it was 12 layers in Black Ops, in Black Ops 2 it's 32 layers. So people are going to have a lot more flexibility, a lot more options in terms of what they can develop. So you're going to see much more veiny penises when it comes to
I can't wait
Black
to see
Ops
what
2.
Random comes up with. That, I mean,
Random actually does a really good job with a lot of the stuff.
Comes up with like every type of fucking Pokemon there is. He's got a drawing of it. 32 layers.
Once you actually get past the people with gorillas and pickles everywhere on Black Ops, if you actually look at some of the emblems people have actually created, and the level of detail where they, you know, zoomed in and taken just one fraction of one of the bits of the emblem to make another thing, it's absolutely amazing what people have come up with.
Yeah.
And it's one thing I'm really looking forward to seeing is the creativity and the things that people actually come out with. Yeah. Obviously, we're going to get swastikas and like, which I'm going to be reporting left, right, and centre, and you're going to get idiots. But
the good thing is, I mean, with Black Ops, they banned those people. They got rid of those people really quickly. It wasn't just they could get away with a lot of those offensive things. I mean, if you early on, they really did do a good job of enforcing that kind of stuff. So, I mean, if people want to do that kind of shit, that's fine. But at least if Treyarch follows the model they did with Black Ops, then that stuff will be out pretty quickly. So, yeah, I don't mind at all. I'm glad that they're including even more possibilities in terms of emblem editing. Apparently, the SMGs are suffering a massive range drop-off in comparison to previous games. They're extremely deadly at close range, but They're not as effective as they are, or as they were maybe at slightly longer ranges. I don't know if you use any SMGs, Mac, but I mean, is there any? Is that true? Did you feel like the SMGs?
I think I used an MP7 for a little while, just because everyone else it seemed to be the go-to gun for most of the people playing on the tournament, on the tournament table. To be honest, I couldn't really notice that much because, again, I was running and gunning most of the time, so I wasn't really using or trying to do long shots. When I was anything which was I thought was out of range, I just threw a grenade out and ran the other direction. To be honest, just my normal play style.
They probably used that though because it was familiar from Modern Warfare 3. I probably said that it wasn't better than any gun. They were just the most familiar with it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that'll be interesting how they balance that out. Let's see. There's no high-end kill streak, so you don't have to worry about the return of the nuke or the Moab or any game-ending kill streak or game-altering kill streak.
Thank God.
Yeah, I never like the nuke was fun to get, but at the same time, I don't like that being an objective that ended it. And I didn't play Modern Warfare 3, but apparently everybody loved Moabs or people. That was like for a lot of people that was their end goal, and I don't know. If you're playing an objective game, then I'd much rather have people focus on the objective and not on a fucking Moab.
I've always been of the opinion, if you have something that rewards someone for getting 25 straight kills or 24 if you've got hardline without dying, all you're doing is promoting camping, camping, camping.
That's exactly what it is.
And ignoring the objective.
The game on so many levels.
And ignoring the objective, which is the big thing.
Let's see what else there is. Yeah, so I'm definitely glad to hear that. The Remington is apparently like the Stakeout, except it's slightly better, better overall. It seems like they buffed the shotguns a little bit, so they're not, because I know a lot of people weren't real crazy about the shotguns in Black Ops, and they were kind of like weapons that you'd use just to dick around with. So it seems like they've put a little bit more attention on those. Did you try any shotguns, or did you see anyone use them, Mac?
Didn't actually use them myself. We did actually watch a match between Barn and Optic Moppy, where Optic Moppy had a sniper, and I think, as far as I remember, someone's probably going to correct me on stream now, Barn was using the sniper rifle, and at the end of the match, they actually tied. So, hopefully that's a good sign.
Do you mean shotgun?
That's a word. I said shotgun, didn't I?
You said sniper, I think. Maybe I'm going deaf. I don't know.
Yeah, Optic Moppy had, it was a shotgun versus a sniper match.
Okay.
Wow.
Have we talked
really?
Pardon?
Go ahead.
I said pardon.
Oh, have we talked about sniping at all this stream? Have we mentioned? I know we talked about it before stream.
I think we probably talked about it beforehand.
We talked about it beforehand. What was your thoughts on sniping, or what were your experiences, and what were other people's opinions of sniping for Black Ops 2?
Okay. From my opinion, every single sniper rifle is overpowered because everyone who used the sniper rifle against me killed me. It had nothing to do with skill. They were all overpowered. I said this to you guys earlier. During one of the breaks, I actually had a little chat with Optic Moppy about sniping, and I've got to say, hands up, she is one of the best snipers I have ever seen play the game. And then, actually playing against her, the shot she was pulling off was absolutely amazing. So I thought, best person to ask would be her, and according to her, she absolutely loves the way that they balance the sniper rifles and the way they perform. So, I can't say anything more than that. I'm going to bow to her experience on this, and if she thinks they're good, then that's good enough for me. I had a little go in one of the games, just, because we were playing on the tournament table, and I thought, yeah, sniper rifle, how cool would it be if I was up on the main screen? And, scoping in, you can get kills really easy. I didn't try quick scoping because I'm crap at it. But, they seem to perform well, and it seemed to be a fun play style which people enjoy. So I think, again, they've tried to cater for everyone, but keeping it so everyone's kind of happy.
Yeah. The quick scopers are going to be using that ballistic scope.
The ballista with the iron sight?
Yeah, well, that, and, there's an attachment you can add that I think it takes the sway out. So when you sight up, it doesn't sway. It's not easier to quickscope, but it makes it closer to what they did in Modern Warfare 3 and Modern Warfare 2 than it did in Black Ops.
I am upset about one thing, and Virgo's upset too. It's my baby. It's being taken away from me. The AK-47 is not returning. I think it's been in every Call of Duty.
Well, there is an AK-47 like equivalent.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just the gun. I mean, it's not a groundbreaking thing. It's not like I'm not gonna go buy the game, but it's a sad day.
No, that was my favorite gun throughout the entire series. But I guess if you're gonna set it in the future, you can't have a gun
that's like 400 years old.
Yeah, can't have that making a return.
I also noticed that the Scorpion is like a full-size SMG, other than a small handheld one.
I've heard a lot of things that it's a very powerful weapon. Like that, the Scorpion is the go-to SMG right now, versus it just being kind of like a novelty in Black Ops. Right. Although dual akimbo Scorpions are absolutely amazing.
Did you notice any akimbo weapons, Mac?
No, I might have seen someone with akimbo pistols, but not offhand, to be honest.
I wouldn't mind, just as long as they don't go back to the akimbo secondary weapons like the
G18s and the FMGs.
Yeah.
They don't have anything like that.
I don't remember offhand, to be honest.
But none of that stuff exists, right? Like FMG secondaries or G18 secondaries. It's kind of like Black Ops. It's pistols and launchers.
Yeah, it was. The secondaries we had pistols, launchers, and then I think the menu. I mean, this might change, but it was special then, which was like your crossbow stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I prefer that over Modern Warfare 2.
I really like the way the crossbow looks. The way they flipped it around, and it has the better sights on it.
I played for a little bit of the crossbow. There's an attachment you can put on it that has 3 bolts, and you fire it. And I mean, the crossbow looks amazing. Wiggy's having an orgasm at the moment.
Yeah, he is.
3?
Yeah, it's a tri-bolt attachment, but it like shoots out, and I mean the crossbow looks amazing when you've actually got it on your screen.
Could you imagine getting a triple with one shot? Just like a fan just come out and hit 3 people.
Yeah, it wasn't very accurate, I'll be honest, but it looked hella fun to use. So I did for a while, just to try as many things as I could out.
Cool, because they didn't have attachments for the crossbow in Black Ops. It was just the crossbow. So that's cool. I wonder if you can put skins on it. I bet you can.
I
think you put camos on everything.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a camo option. Almost positive.
What else? You don't have to hold X to pick up I guess in Black Ops it was tomahawks, but in this game it's combat axes, so you can just walk right over it. So people that like to throw nothing but combat axes, I'm sure they're going to appreciate that. The other thing that I think is going to motivate people to play league play is you can have your ranking in league in your player card, and that shows up whenever you're playing. So I mean, the higher standing you get in league, that's going to show up wherever you play. So it's kind of a way to say, hey, this is where I am. I don't know if they're going to use like a platinum, gold, silver system, or what is it in Halo 4? It's an Onyx, not Halo 4, Halo Reach, Onyx.
Iron, bronze, silver,
I don't
gold.
know what they're gonna do, but it's a way of saying
I'm better than you.
I guess. Yeah, it's like
I can't wait.
I'm better than you.
Sullivan's gonna be like, don't even talk to me, kid. You're bronze. Don't even talk to me.
He's gonna grab that as quickly as he can. The sensitivity scale has changed from 1 to 10 to 1 to 14, so you get a little bit more granularity in terms of controlling your sensitivity. That could be interesting. And then I mentioned it before, but apparently Pick 10 really is going to allow you to differentiate roles. Mac was just talking about how you said you created like a run and gunning assault rifle class, but you also created like a long distance assault rifle class. So you were able to cater the Pick 10 to whatever style you wanted.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I had used the MTAR, which is the TAR-21, which made in Israel, by the way, in case you didn't know that. Handy fact. Yeah, and like the first class I made was, I had it as a run and gun, but then I had the laser sight on it. So I was basically using it more like an SMG. It's just because I wanted to try the MTAR. And then I was doing okay with it, but I thought I'd try. I swapped over to the class I've made with a red dot sight. And instantly, you could kind of feel, even though I was playing with the same weapon, I could feel like my game style had changed. It had slowed down a bit. It didn't feel like I was now with an SMG and was able to, spray and pray. I was actually now back with an assault rifle, which was great for long shots, mid range. I could still spray it, but it's like I said. I mean, the pick 10 system, the best thing it's allowed it to do is you can choose a weapon, and then you could adapt your creative class to how you want to play with that weapon, as opposed to being the weapon dictates which style of play you have. I mean, as you know, I'm famous because I made a run and gun class with the LMGs in Modern Warfare 3. Sorry, well, didn't mean to mention it again. And I did the same in Black Ops with the M60. I made a run and gun class. Granted, it wasn't the fastest run and gun class, but you know, with the Pig 10 system, you can actually do that, which I think is brilliant.
Well, okay, so did you use any LMGs while you're playing? I heard another thing is LMGs are actually much more viable than in previous games.
I didn't. I don't know if the other guys did. I didn't actually see anyone when we were there using an LMG. I mean, we only stayed around the tournament table, so everyone was using sniper rifles or SMGs or assault rifles. Didn't see any LMGs at all, I'm afraid.
From some of the videos that I've seen, there's more options, where there's normally 4 to 5. I think it was more in the 6 to 7 range.
You mean more guns or
more variety of LMGs? Yes.
Okay. The other thing is they're normally pretty limited in terms of attachments, at least compared to SMGs and assault rifles. Do you know if there's more variability in terms of customizing the LMGs?
I think so, because I mean, like, they're still going to have like the long barrel, the adjustable stock, which is adds in like stalker, long barrel, which is like penetration or range.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be obviously extended mags, quick. What is it? What is the one that's
quick draw?
Well, it's
faster ADS.
No, I think it's actually a quicker, like, sleight of hand.
Fast hands.
Fast hands, yeah. Well, that's the perk.
Yeah.
The attachment is actually, I'd have to look it up, but I think there's and also you have the holographic.
Fast mag in.
Fast mag, yeah. There you go. Nice church fella. What was the other one? Oh, they also had the holographic attachment that puts the diamonds around the enemy. That's going to be really cool with the LMGs, because and some of the footage that I've seen, it looks like with that attachment, it actually takes some of the recoil out from what you can see, kind of like the way the thermal did with the LMGs in that other game.
The game we won't mention.
The game that shall not be mentioned.
Okay, so I think that's everything I've gone through, at least with the multiplayer. I mean, is there anything else you guys want to talk about, or before we move on? I think we can real quickly talk about zombies, and then just because we're running out of time, we'll briefly talk about some other games that were at the Expo.
Cambo says that the tomahawk it felt, and so it felt is capitalized, so it may not be true, but he says it feels like the tomahawk took longer to get out, like. And then there's no panic tomahawking, so you can just be like hit the right bumper and throw it real quick.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. Did you do any knifing, or anyone knife you? I've heard that the knife range has been reduced dramatically. Is that?
Yes, it has. I died.
He says that he also said that there was no. He says on land, he said there felt like there was no lunging. So
at all.
That's what
you're gonna get lunging online properly.
Definitely.
Because it's one of the aspects of playing over line. But I mean, talking about knifing, one thing I really did like, which I actually forgot when I was playing until I realised, because I tried to do it, was you can't knife people's kill streaks now. So you can't run up and do run up and knife the
sentry gun,
for example, sort of thing, which I think is brilliant.
That's good.
And a couple of times I ran out into someone and hit the knife button, as you do. And, I'm used to like Modern Warfare or Black Ops where they instantly die, and they didn't. And then we done a little dance for a couple of minutes, a couple of seconds, and I died. So it's there, but it's not as strong. But getting back to what Cambo said, with secondaries, I'm sure there's something that allows you to swap weapons quicker.
He said fast hands, unless you use fast hands. So that might...
Yeah, that's the word.
And I do have a question for you, Mag, or anybody watching that played it. One of the biggest controversies, I guess, or I don't really know what the word is, but that the site that you can look through and it kind of shows the character behind a wall. Did you use that at all, or
Millimeter?
The what?
Yeah, Millimeter site.
Okay.
I used it for about 20 seconds and hated it.
You hated it. Okay. Why didn't you like it?
It does what it says on the tin. It gives you as it sways across, you get an outline of a person if they're kind of standing still and stuff. But it's the same for me like the mini map. I found that I was actually looking at that and not looking at the screen, so I died. So I swapped again. It's one of those things. People are going to use it and feel, oh my god, it's like the heartbeat sensor in
Modern Warfare 2.
The game we won't mention. You know,
Once
you start equipping that and you're looking at it, you die a lot more because you're not actually looking at the screen. So I think it's a good idea in as much as it's going to make people think you can't camp behind walls, but people are actually going to use it and then find it's not as good to use as they thought it was going to be.
It's like using an electric blanket in the shower.
I don't know if it's that bad.
Said.
Wait. I thought you were allowed to do that.
Just once. You only get to do it once.
The other thing I wanted to ask is did you try the riot shield at all? Because that reminded me kind of like, what is it, the Mauler shield in Gears of War? It looks
boom
like
shield.
the riot shield from Modern Warfare. The boom shield looks like the riot shield from Modern Warfare 2, but you can actually set it down in different locations.
Funny story about the riot shield. when we went back on Sunday, we were lucky enough to get back into the VIP section, and we only had 3 of us in, and we were actually going to do an EU forum type thing where we were just going to equip riot shields and the battle axes, and we were sitting down, everyone was making their classes, and we'd all made the riot shield classes, and I kind of noticed that we were actually playing as a 3-man team against 3 other 3-man teams of all like really big YouTubers, and I suddenly thought, we're gonna look really bad here. So I kind of mentioned to the others, you know, like, have you got riot shields? And I went off happily with my gun and sights and everything, you know, trying to play properly. And I turned around and the other 2 idiots were sitting there with riot shields, dolphin diving everywhere.
Oh, there's something else that I don't think Mac has mentioned that I thought was very interesting, that party chat was not enabled. Isn't that right, Mac? That it was not enabled whenever you guys were playing?
Unless I stupidly couldn't find the button for it. Yeah, it just looks like we couldn't actually. We had the headphones on and everyone was speaking, but then I realised that I was only speaking to myself and no one could hear me. So I think it was just for the tournament. Again, it might have just been because I'm an idiot and I missed the button, but we couldn't talk to each other when we played.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't, because I hated how Modern Warfare 2 instituted it. I liked having party chat and everything except search and destroy. I thought that was fine. What else? Is there anything?
Talking of chat, there is one thing which we should mention, which I think is an absolutely brilliant feature, is you can actually mute people en masse in a lobby now. If you're in a party, you can mute everyone apart from your party.
Really?
In the lobby.
Okay,
yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like that. That's a great feature. Anything from the stream that you guys want questions asked? Otherwise, I think we're going to real quickly touch on Black Ops 2 Zombies and then move on to some of the other games at the Expo. I don't know if my chat froze. I haven't seen anything.
The last thing I got is Cortez posting a link that doesn't work.
Yeah. In that case, well, we'll definitely. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about Black Ops 2 in the future, but I think we've been talking about it for over an hour now. So we'll move on to something. We'll move on to the zombie parts, anyways. So apparently, it's not just the traditional zombies making a return. But there's also 2 more modes. There's the what they call the transit mode, which is kind of like a campaign. You fight in a certain area and then you move to another area. And how you decide to move to that other area is different. You can either take a bus, which is faster, but apparently there's some risks whenever you're on the bus, or you can go on foot, which is obviously slower, but you can all work together. So they added a campaign, and the 3rd mode they're adding in that I think is really interesting is called the Grief, which is it's humans versus zombies. So it's two teams of 4 that are working against each other, but at the same time they're trying to survive zombies. And they can't shoot each other. The only way you can hurt the other team is through traps and by setting up ways for the zombies to kill them. So it's called Grief. I think I mentioned it before. Yeah, Grief. So it's kind of like taking on this trolling aspect. You try to troll the enemy team and get them killed by zombies. So I don't know. I've never been a big fan of the previous zombies, but these 2 new modes they're adding in, plus a custom zombie mode where you can make whatever parameters you want. Is that something you guys are looking forward to, or are you just way more interested in Black Ops 2 multiplayer?
I'm not a zombie player, but it'll make me want to play it, I guarantee you. And because I would play it once, and you get to level 15, and it's like, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. This seems like it's going to be totally different. And different as far as zombie goes is better, in my opinion.
We dabbled in the last game with zombies, but I mean, being a EU forum, the main problem we had was it took coordination and actual communication to actually succeed, which is we died a lot and gave up. And I mean, I've never been a fan of anything like horde mode, zombies, that sort of thing just never has interested me. But because it's just basically wave upon wave upon wave of the same thing. You know, okay, it gets harder when you die.
Yeah.
Big deal. The fact that they've mixed it up now and it's on a multiplayer engine, so there's all this new stuff they can do, it actually makes it more interesting. And I mean, especially the transit mode. I've been playing Borderlands 2 recently a lot, and I'm absolutely loving that. You know, playing with 3 other people in a team, and actually, okay, we're playing against AIs, but
We're
I
progressing.
can see it's going to have that same sort of feeling to it. You know, where it's like U4 versus everything else. So actually, probably going to give it a go this time.
Yeah, I'm the exact same way. I might have played a new zombie map once or twice, never touched it again. But this transit mode and then the grief mode, depending on how well they implement that, both those modes seem really awesome. And the fact that you can customize zombie mode, so you can make it like headshots only. You can decide what special weapons spawn. All those things seem really interesting. I know, Stabby, where do you stand on this, on the zombie news?
Oh, that's awesome news. I was more of like a moderate. Of course, I'm gonna prefer multiplayer over zombies, just because it's always more refreshing. It's always a difference. Zombies, like Wiki said, just gets kind of repetitive. It's the same old, and eventually it just becomes okay. Now I want to be the number 1 on my friends list to be at the top. So it's kind of a challenge for that if you play for that sort of reason. But the fact that they're adding a lot, like the new transit mode, the grief mode seems really cool. I have to read up on it a lot more, but I think that they're focusing on zombies too is really cool, because I know that they have a huge player base that always is like more zombies, and it's always gotten better. They've never gotten worse, except for maybe the first map pack. I thought the first map pack, the Asylum, was pretty bad, but beyond that, everything is just getting better. And the fact that they're incorporating so much new stuff, and a lot of things people complain about new games is that there's no new things. Max said there's a lot of things. He feels like it's going to be new and fresh in multiplayer, and I feel like zombies is going to be new and fresh. But I will prefer multiplayer over zombies.
All right. Well, I think that is it to cover everything with Black Ops. If there's no more questions, I think they're screaming moose. So I think that's our segue into the next area. Wait, go ahead.
Somebody wanted to note that Scavenger replaces all stuff. So
I think Scavenger replaces everything, including explosives. But if you kill somebody with an explosive, the Scavenger pack doesn't drop.
Okay.
My understanding.
Okay.
So,
yeah, that's the way I understand it. I mean,
just to close up on the Black Ops thing. I mean, if you wanted a review of one sentence, you can see they have thought about every single aspect of the game before they put it in, and I was really hesitant 50-50 of the game before I've actually tried it now, and I can't wait to play it now. It just looks like it's going to be hella fun.
Well, that's a good endorsement. It's definitely. I said in the past I wasn't going to pre-order it until it came out, but I think I'm going to change my mind and just pre-order it. There's just way too many things they've incorporated in there. Even just zombies by itself, I think, is worth the purchase. But everything they've added in as well, I think I'm going to pick it up. Wiggy, I think you already said you're going to pre-order the game.
Yes, sir.
And Stabby,
I already have it pre-ordered. I have the hardened edition pre-ordered.
I've got to be honest, right? I don't get the point of pre-ordering. If you're ordering a limited edition,
that's what I'm ordering.
Anything else? Why do you have to pre-order? I just don't see the point of it.
Like I told you on Twitter when you were asking about that. In my area, even though I live in the 4th largest city in the United States, they do tend to run out of copies. Like Borderlands 2, they only had 3 copies that they could sell to me when I went in the next day. Because my brother didn't pre-order it. And
3 copies.
3 copies that they could sell to me. They had a bunch that people hadn't picked up, but since they're pre-ordered, they have to wait a week. They have to wait a week before they can sell them. But they had 3 copies that weren't pre-ordered. Like they had 9 copies. Like, we'll just say 9 copies, but 6 people had pre-ordered, so there's only 3 available for sale. But I am pre-ordering the hardened edition. One, because I'm a sucker for steelbooks. I just like the way they look. and 2, the zombies, the Nuketown zombies. I don't know why. I'm just gonna get it.
Yeah, if I'm gonna, because it's like, yeah, I'll pre-order just the normal just to get the Nuketown 2025 bonus zombie map. But I think at least in my area, up to Modern Warfare 2, if you didn't pre-order back in that time frame, you weren't getting the game for another week. But now you don't need to pre-order games, at least where I live. You don't have to worry about them not having a copy when you show up. But I guess obviously the demand is much higher in these larger cities. I guess they're not bringing in as many.
Well,
copies.
that's just at one store. I don't. I mean, I
You didn't look around.
I mean, I could probably go to Walmart, which is less than a quarter of a mile away from the GameStop, or I can go down the road about a mile and go to another GameStop and check, and then there's another GameStop. There's a bajillion places I could go, but I just like this one because I like the people that work there and things like that.
Right. I'll rephrase this, right, because I think you guys are going to get it before we do. Why the bleep would you pre-order Call of Duty Elite? GameStop are selling. I think you'll find GameStop over your end of the world are going to be taking pre-orders for Call of Duty Elite soon. It's a web-based service that you pay. There's no.
I don't know.
But people pre-order it.
I'm not even.
I didn't get Elite for Modern Warfare 3. I don't plan on, unless they change things around. I don't plan on getting it.
Do I count as a pre-order if I've continued my subscription from the last time? That doesn't count, right?
No.
No, but you wouldn't physically go to a GameStop and pre-order it.
No, I'm just too lazy to cancel it from the last time.
There you go. Actually, I don't even need to go to GameStop. You can do it on Amazon. You get same-day delivery. Amazon's taking over the world, so I'll just do.
Ask Ball Lake how that went out for Borderlands. Ask him how that went out for him.
How'd that go, Ball Lake? Is he there?
Cambo is. He actually, I believe, and he can correct me if I'm wrong. I think he actually went out and bought the game because it didn't deliver within like 3 days or something like that. So
that must be a freak accident because most of the people I know, they get it. They do actually get. They normally get it like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the day the game's released. So, I don't know.
Just before we do, now we're actually just quickly discussing Elite. One thing I would like to mention, which I really hope is going to happen, big winky face, is with the new tournament mode in Call of Duty, and they've got the different things. If we actually had some sort of website that shows the leagues, the tournaments, the rankings and stuff, that's the sort of thing Activision really should put in, sort of the next version of Elite when it comes out.
One would hope you'd see that.
We can only hope.
So yeah, because honestly, it felt like Elite with Modern Warfare 3. I think a lot of people said it was very broken. It was kind of a beta. So hopefully they've learned from their mistakes and they're gonna turn it around and.
Well, the only way it can go from here is up because if anything, it was a base system, and most people said they got more information out of just looking in their barracks than they did out of Elite. So.
I can't confirm this, but there is actually a rumor that one of the story in the single player on Black Ops, one of the storylines that you can actually branch off is, I think it's in the Afghanistan level, you do get the opportunity to put the entire staff of Beachhead up against a wall and shoot them, basically. And then you find if you then branch off, your multiplayer comes back with a combat record, which works brilliantly because you can use it in a game. Again, can't confirm this, but we can only hope.
Yeah, there you go. That's a great incentive to purchase the game. So I think now we're officially done talking Call of Duty, unless there's any last second remarks. We'll real quickly wrap up. What were some of the other? I think we talked about in the beginning. There's an indie game that you wanted to mention, and just mention some of the other highlights of some of the other games at the EuroGaming Expo that you want to talk about.
I've got to be honest. For me, apart from the elephant in the room, which was Black Ops, the only game I really wanted to see was Dishonored.
Mm-hmm.
I'd heard a lot about it. I love the concept. As I said to everyone, we all played. We all had some sort of technical issue with the hardware using it, and the game felt really, really clunky. And I'll be honest, I think myself and V both actually rage quit after 2 minutes of playing because it was just getting so infuriating.
That's
So,
disappointing because they're really, I mean, they're really hyping this game up, and it's supposed to be this new. For me, from what I've seen, it looks like Assassin's Creed meets BioShock, but they're saying no, this is a unique experience. It's going to be a ton of fun. But hearing that at this stage the controls aren't even really that working that well, I don't know how well that bodes for the final product.
I mean, to give you an idea, there was it was a single player level, and you've basically, it's a scripted level. You know, you follow a set path sort of thing. And I mean, there was one, but you had to sneak past, or you could shoot the guy with your crossbow bolt. But it was so hard to actually get the thing to aim. It just got infuriating in the end. So I just gave up and just ran up and stabbed them. And then obviously the game changed because everyone had seen me then.
Yeah.
And then there was another level. You're supposed to pick up a corpse. And every time I picked up a corpse, I'd walk like 2 or 3 feet, and the corpse would fall off me because I pressed another button, and I'd have to walk back around, and then little menu icon, like the task icon you get, to tell which direction, would constantly spin around the screen because this guy kept falling. I couldn't hold the corpse, and that's when I quit. It was just too frustrating. I hope they fix it because it looks like an amazing game if they fix it.
Yeah,
I hope so.
I hope they fix that stuff, but we'll have to wait and see because they're definitely hyping it up like it's supposed to be this big epic game. But we'll see how that works out. What was it? The indie game that you mentioned earlier? Did you ever find the name of that? Okay,
I've got to give a shout out to these 2 games. While the guys were all off doing their thing, I went for a little wander on one of my many trips to get coffee due to the fact we didn't have much sleep and I was falling over. But I went over to the indie section. I have a lot of respect for the indie game development side of things, and 2 standout games for me. There was a game called The Tower of Gorillion, which was this little 2D platformer. But it looked kind of basic, but it's like most 2D platformers. Once you actually start, it had so much sort of strategy involved in it, and I just got totally sucked into it. The second one was a game, I'm going to have to read this out because I can never pronounce it properly, was Isocronus, and it was a 2-player strategy game, like an RTS type of thing. But I had like a little go on that, and I loved that as well. And they're my 2 standout from the indie games, which I think deserve a mention. Just again, but something I loved about EuroGamer was they had this indie section, and they really tried to demonstrate and show people like the indie games as opposed to the big games as well, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome that they did that. Okay, well then, and then one, I guess to close it out, the last 2 things we want to talk about. Wiggy, you wanted to talk about modern or Medal of Honor Warfighter. The beta is coming out this weekend. Now, if I wanted to get into the beta, do I need to pre-order the game, or is it free? Can I just jump into it right now?
No. It's going to be an open beta on Xbox Live. You can pick it up on the dashboard.
Okay.
I plan on downloading it tomorrow night, and I'm actually going to be streaming some of that gameplay on the Twitch channel. Hopefully, I'll do it on the forum channel. Everybody come check it out. Because I'm going into this. I know Louis is going to be a big fan. He's already pre-ordered it. He wants to play it. I'm going to give it, give it its due. Go in it with an open mind. And, I'm probably going to get my teeth kicked in. But, that's going to be the point. Play something different. Give it a chance. If it's worth picking up, believe me, I'll be the first to say, I'll give it a shot. It's going to be something different. So, it's kind of a Battlefield 3 on a smaller scale with a little bit different engine. So
it's kind of like
to be honest, it's not really a Battlefield 3. It's basically people are going to buy that game for Battlefield 4 beta. That's all it is. It's just a filler, and it's got a very stupid name. I'm sorry, I can't stand the name Warfighter. I think it's the most ridiculous name ever.
Yeah, I think that's kind of odd, but they wanted it to stand out different from Battlefield, so they gave it a different name. But yeah, I'm interested to play that.
So you have to have Xbox Live Gold for the beta. I think most people do.
Yep.
So I'm going to try it. I had no idea that the beta was this weekend, but I'm going to give it a try. But I would think most people are interested in Battlefield 4.
I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to use the same thing that I said when EU Forum tried Homefront multiplayer beta. How bad could it be?
It's free.
Right.
Smoke says he played it already, and he says it's pretty much Battlefield without vehicles. So if you're
And Smoke just put me off of it.
The thing, I'll be honest, I don't like Battlefield 3 on console. I am building a new PC just for the sole reason to play Battlefield 3 on PC. That's a completely different experience.
Wait for me.
But on console, it's man, I have no interest in playing it on console.
I'm the same. Battlefield is a PC game, and it should stay on the bloody PC because it does not work on console.
Not so
at all.
And then the final thing I guess we're going to touch on is War Z just announced its pricing package. I'll see if I can pull it up real quickly. But I believe if you spend upwards of
$50,
$50 is the premium. But for $30, you can get into the alpha October 15th. For $20, you can get to the beta October 31st.
31st.
Yes. Let's see. I think I have it on here. Oh, there we go. Naga has the list on here. So yeah, you can October 31st you get what's called the Survivor package. It's $19.49. All that to get you is beta access. For $29.99 you can get into the alpha. It's called the Pioneer package. You also get $15 worth of in-game currency. You can get to host a server for 1 month. You get 3 guest keys, and that's $30. And then finally for $50 you get your server name or your survivor name will be highlighted on leaderboards and chat. Whoopsie fucking do. You get $30 worth of in-game currency. You get 6 months to host a server. You get 3 guest keys, and yeah, you also get the alpha access on October 15th. Is anybody remotely interested in this at all?
Me.
I wasn't, so I found out that Stabby was going to get the $50 package. Now I want to get one just so I could go around the game trolling him because his name stands out in chat more, and it costs $20 more.
I want that. I mean, I don't know what the server entails. Like, do I actually get to run my own server? Do I get to do all this other stuff? Like, 'cause I didn't really read up on. I haven't really been following Warzy, to be honest. But I did say
if I get a bigger E-Pane.
Well, not to toot my own horn, but I think I'm gonna go with the premium package only because I figure it'd be nice to have a server for 6 months if I can indeed run the server myself. That way.
But what if the game is complete and utter garbage?
Well,
To me, the whole Warzy and Daisy thing is basically like a zombie version of Betamax versus VHS.
Yes, that is actually a good example. So which one is going to have porn in the game first? That will win the overall competition.
Indeed.
Is which one has the naked zombies first? That's the one that's going to win. Yeah, I don't. Looking at the video game, or not the video, but the videos for War Z, I get less and less impressed every time I see videos.
I'll just have Nasty give me a beta key access.
I know they say that it's alpha, but it just they made this claim that they were working on this concept and this engine for quite some time now, and honestly it looks like they saw what they were doing with DayZ and they just re-engineered the War Inc. engine in a short time frame. And the other thing that really bothers me about this package is if you spend $30 or $50, you get into the alpha, and the alpha lasts from October 15th to October 31st. So basically, you have 2 weeks to be in this alpha stage. When you look at something like Minecraft, how long was that in alpha for?
Forever.
Forever. And I love their model because the dev team actually worked with the community, and it was a long duration before they finally decided to switch over to beta. Here, it just looks like they're copying Minecraft's model, but they're just doing it kind of in name only. They're not truly incorporating that approach. So I don't know how you can consider an alpha for 2 weeks. That kind of almost offends me a little bit. So yeah, it seems like it's just a race to beat DayZ. They're just trying to get this game out before DayZ comes out. They're trying to get people to play it and come out, but I could be wrong. They could have done a really good job in this short time period, but I don't know. I might. Stabby will be the guinea pig, and we'll see how that works out.
I'll let Nasty give me a beta key, then I'll play it and see if I like it or not. So,
so I mean, Mac, Wiggy, are you guys honestly? Do you guys think you're going to pick up this package at all, or is it just a waste of time?
I'm interested. I want to hear kind of what Stabby says about it, but I'm interested because I'm really going to get more into PC gaming in this upcoming year.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to have the equipment to actually play it. So, yeah, I mean, it looks like a lot of fun. Nasty's told me a lot of, that I have to play it with him, so I'm interested. But we'll see what package I pick up based on, what Stabby says about it.
My main thing is that if the forum, ever decides to go public again, there's this whole, I'm not going to go into details, but there's a whole talks about different things. We tried that free forums for like a week, and I thought it was a bad idea, but if we ever do go public again, I think that the hosting a server would generate some interest in the group, because I could just like be like, bam, bitches, that's our website, right there, go.
Well, I will say, at least in respect to DayZ, I don't know if Nasty's in the chat, but the DayZ's forum, or the DayZ server, and we have to thank Claymore and Naga for that, but that actually got a lot of popularity. That server, before it got riddled with hackers and had some issues, every night that was fully populated. Sometimes you'd have to wait in queue just to get into the lives. This is a server, I think it was either 40 or 50 people max. So people were loving that server, and they're loving the way that HC set that up. So yeah, that is a good way to advertise the forum. I mean, Mac, you've been following it. How interested are you in DayZ and WarZ just in general? I mean, is that something you want to play?
Well, DayZ, yes. I actually still keep meaning to get around to doing it. I think I said the other week when you guys were doing the forecast and I was listening back, I love the premise behind it, because it's not just a video game. It's, players' actual own moral compass comes into play, which I think is brilliant. Mm-hmm. Now there's like a choice of two. I think I'm going to hold back. I would have said now, I'll go and get DayZ and play that, because that's what everyone's doing. Now it's going to be like everyone's going to try WarZ and see what it's like. And I think in the long run, because DayZ comes from the modding community, and the Arma 2 modding community is a really strong modding community. Mm-hmm. I can see a lot more innovation and stuff coming out of DayZ than it comes out of WarZ, which again I still think is basically, it might have been first, it might have copied it. We everyone has a different opinion, but I can see them copying more stuff that comes out of DayZ than DayZ copying stuff that comes out of WarZ now.
Yeah, I think right now DayZ is the stronger candidate. That's the thing that everybody's gunning for. I think I'm going to prefer playing DayZ. I had a lot of fun, and hopefully, if you haven't played it, we've said it before, it is a hella fun game. It's boring as hell to watch, but man, is it fun to play. So I think that wraps up everything. I don't know if there's anything you want to touch base on from the EU forum meetup, anything you want to highlight, but other than that, that's everything that I wanted to discuss.
Yeah, never share a room with a Norwegian if you actually need more than 2 hours. Right.
Did he bring his Viking helmet?
We the first night, okay, it was. I mean, we didn't actually go to bed till like 4:30 after we got food, and we had to get up early in the morning to get to EuroGamer, and Bebby actually came up with an amazing idea of buying earplugs for the next night for the three of us who weren't snoring, and within 2 minutes of being in bed, the snoring started, and I just heard, I think it was Bear B or BA, just this little pathetic, sad voice go, "It's not working, I can hear
them." Awesome. All right, well, I mean, it's awesome that you guys had that meetup. Hopefully the forum can do something to that scale, because it seems like you guys had a lot of fun doing.
Let's be honest, if out of all the groups of the forum boys, who would have thought that the EU forum, the most unorganised bunch of...
I know, and they coordinated that, and it seemed like
different countries in one place.
Yeah, no,
that's actually really ridiculous. I mean, awesome
impressive.
Though.
Yeah, I'm glad that you guys had that experience. I'm glad that you guys had a blast. And I really appreciate.
They all arrived in London before me, and no one actually bothered to tell me where in London they were till I'd actually got off the train and phoned and found out.
All right, well, yeah, that's I could imagine the chaos that was going on even before you arrived. But I'm glad you guys got together and got to do that, and I appreciate you coming on the podcast as well. I know there's a time difference. I need to send the EU forum like this fruit basket for all the different guests that we've had to endure these long hours. I know it's late night for you guys, so it's really much appreciated. But thanks, Mac, for coming on and sharing all those details. I said in the beginning of the stream, but I'm going to include the link to both the Caps videos that has Mac and Cap discussing the new infrastructure for Modern Warfare 3 matchmaking. Also, the thread that's currently on COD HQ, the Elagathon. I'm going to include that in the description as well, so you guys be sure to check that out and keep your eyes on that thread as well. But like I said before, Mac, thanks for coming on, and obviously Wiggy and Stabby, thanks for being on here as well. So that's it. I appreciate it, guys, and like always.